Remember C Jane Go? Well, another app that advertised itself as Uber for women only is going to be launching soon. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and let's talk about what's been a very touchy subject for a lot of my viewers. Every time this comes up, there's always a little bit of disagreement, and that's fine. I welcome the disagreement. I encourage the discussion below, as long as you're nice to one another about it and you don't call names, you don't flip people off, you don't do any of those things. We can have civil conversations about this. And also, one of the reasons I like having conversations is because my opinion about this topic has changed. I remember when C Jane Go came out, and I was, by the way, scheduled to interview the CEO of C Jane Go, but she got concerned after watching my channel. She wasn't sure if she wanted to necessarily be on it. Probably was afraid that I would pounce her with some tough questions, which was probably a reasonable expectation to have. I mean, I had a couple doozies in there for her. And I think I was against the concept of C Jane Go because, I felt it was discrimination. However, my opinion has changed just a little bit since then because I do read the stories and I report on many of them about the female drivers who are attacked by their drunk passenger. And I get a lot of comments below well, don't drive around, bars at this time of night, or don't do this or don't do that. And it's the response to this should not be, well, the women shouldn't do this. The response should be, the men should not be doing this to the women. And if this is a problem, we should be giving the women a tool so that it doesn't happen. And I feel more today that there should be filtering options for female drivers that if they don't want to pick up men, for whatever reason, they shouldn't have to. And no, I'm not saying I'm for people saying you can't pick up Jewish people or something like that. Clearly. However, it is a statistical reality that men, particularly drunk men, do try to take advantage of women, and it's a dangerous job. And I don't think the response should be, well, they just can't do it. Some women need to do this. And also, now that Katie drives Uber a little bit more because she needs a little extra money, the wedding thing and stuff, I get a little bit more concerned about this stuff. So, women can choose to have female doctors. They can choose to go to female dentists if they want. I don't understand why this is, and there's a lot of services out there where, they say, hey, you have to be a woman to do this job, and for some reason it's perfectly fine, but I don't know. Anyway, I understand both sides of the argument. It's a very complicated situation, but in the meantime, I kind of like the idea of an Uber for women concept more these days. So, take that for what it's worth. I know some of you will be very upset. That's fine. Again, you can comment below. In fact, you can even dislike the video if you disagree. That's fine. It helps out with the algorithm one way or the other. So anyway, another startup with rides by and for the ladies rolled into Orlando earlier this month. If you believe, its tagline, the company will transform the city's neighborhoods into sisterhoods by offering safe rides for passengers and above-market pay rates for drivers. We'll see. I love how they add that. Kind of like how, we've heard this story before and we're not sure if it's actually going to be a thing. It's good to have that skepticism. So, well before this year's spate of disturbing incidents involving Uber or Lyft drivers or men impersonating them, kidnappings in Alabama, murder in South Carolina, and New York, and a kidnapping and SA arrest near Phoenix just yesterday, to name a few, the ride-hail market has been effectively segmented into safety-focused transportation services for your active kids, your vulnerable grandparents, and all of us uber-cautious women. In fact, that's another thing I want to mention. Why is it we have, skip, hop, drive, is that what it's called? Why do we have services specifically for kids, specifically for grandparents, and nobody bats an eye? And yet, an Uber for women, that's taking it a step too far. We got to protect the kids, we got to protect the grandparents, but the women, screw that. Give them some pepper spray or a taser, best of luck to you. Those are those of us who might swipe up a ride or start a side hustle, but hesitate because we know who else will be in the car. All of the founders of those new twists on the benchmark disruptor are quick to tell you that they're not really Uber for a particular niche. They take more precautions on behalf of their passengers. That's their critical market differentiation. They're safer. Tweak that objective spelling and you get safer. the Boston-based company, which might fill the void left by the stylishly branded C. Jane Go, albeit in a different area. That Southern California-based father and daughter-run company shut down in January 2018 after it launched to strong press and consistent bookings for its pre-scheduled rides, but ultimately ran out of capital. Because there is, like, from a business perspective, if you do exclude half of the nation, because half the nation are men, then yeah, that puts a cap on how much money you can make. And to the mom and father and daughter who made CJ Go, I'm sure they didn't do it with money in mind. I mean, sure, they'd like to make money, but they were doing it because they had a mission. They wanted to make a safer Uber. That was their primary goal. But if that's your primary goal, that's a difficult sell for investors, because investors are going to go like, well, if you can't let men on the app, that's half of the market out there, so you're never going to get bigger than Uber or Lyft. You're never going to get bigger than even Hop, Skip, Drive. You're just not going to be bigger than Postmates. So why are we going to invest in you? That might be why one of the reasons they ran out of capital, because CJ Go was popular and very much loved. Orlando is Safr's second city. It appears from the website that it will take its concept national by franchise, which is interesting. Interesting. They actually call it a franchise. Uber and Lyft should do that. It is not clear if its new Central Florida outpost is the work of founders or the company's first franchisee. Getting on the press release announcing the Orlando launch and operational details outlined on the Safr website, the company's messaging is focused on female empowerment on both sides of the transaction. Drivers earn income that Safr claims hold above a ride-hail market averages, and women get safe and reliable transportation. And on local social impact. I don't know if I would have worded it that way, but okay. The press release touted City of Orlando's after-school All-Stars program, All-Stars program to provide limited free rides for high school students enrolled in the Opportunity Jobs Academy, while the website notes each ride contributes to, quote, charities that support women, children, animals, and communities. But the company did not explain its claims when asked, which, red flag. Emails to spokesperson Kelly O'Shea on June 12th and June 21st weren't returned. Consequently, it is not known how students qualify for free rides and up to what limits, how the company determined that women make up less than 25% of drivers in the ride-sharing space and make on average 34% less than men, how exactly it monitors rides from a command center, and how much of each ride it donates to which nonprofits. Well, look, I can answer that 34% question easily because we talked about it before on this channel, on a couple podcasts. Women do not make less than men intrinsically. They get paid the same rates, they can do the same surges, all that jazz. The way they make a little bit more money is because of the danger zone. They don't do as many bar rides. They don't wake up at certain times, they don't stay as late. In fact, I've strongly encouraged Katie, don't drive after 7, in my opinion. I wouldn't do it. Maybe 7:30. You don't know who you're going. The later you get, the rougher the rides get. Trust me, I have had many, and I don't want her to be in that situation. And a lot of women don't want to be either. So, as a result, their payouts are going to be lower because they are not driving those critical times that are profitable and lucrative, but very, very dangerous for a woman. And by the way, I know that there are dangerous drunk women as well. I'm not saying there aren't. It's just, I got like a woman who was like, like it was one time. It didn't really hurt, that's why, but it's like she was getting physical and it wasn't a long ride. But, that's why women make typically less money on Uber than otherwise. But they get paid the same, so. The customer experience can't yet be gauged from reviews. While pre-scheduled rides became available on June 14th in downtown Orlando, the Android and iPhone apps to order on-demand service aren't expected until August. So they don't really have any logos or something. I'll see if I can't find one, maybe put it in the thumbnail. However, there you have a picture. So again, I have very mixed feelings about this. I mean, I totally understand where people are coming from. They say, it's discrimination, you can't do this. And it's like, look, I understand that, but we also are reading the reports that women are being assaulted a lot in Uber cars. And the female drivers get attacked way more often than the men drivers do. Like, even though there are fewer female Uber drivers, and we know that's true, by the way, they still get attacked more than the men drivers, and I wonder why that is. I say that very sarcastically. I know why that is, but, just for the benefit of the doubt, because I don't want to accuse anyone, particularly companies that are publicly traded and might be profiting off, this abuse. I don't want to say anything, but, I think we all know why. So, I'm kind of more in favor of this than I was a year and a half ago. I'm not going to lie. I really am. So, I know it's a slippery slope. Maybe this isn't the answer. Maybe there's a middle ground. There has to be a middle ground. I believe fully there has to be a middle ground on this. If you're an independent chauffeur, by the way, you can choose which passengers you want to pick up. And if a limousine driver says, I don't want to pick up anyone but men, or I don't want to pick up anyone but women, but I don't want to pick up anyone but pets, they're allowed to do that. So I think this should fly, really. And if you need a ride, and obviously don't call Safr. Call Uber or Lyft or Trip. Maybe. Are they around yet? I mean, I hear they're launching in Florida. Maybe they're launching in Florida. I don't know. So that's my opinion. Of course, this is a sensitive topic. Actually, both the videos I posted today are sensitive topics. I think all 3 videos, the live stream is going to be particularly interesting to do tonight. So yeah, I expect a very, very interesting day of comments on the channel here. However, I still welcome and encourage them. So comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way, helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. And if you like my stuff, you want to see more from me, check me out at Kevin T. Rodriguez or the Apptrepreneur vlogs. More content, a little different, but, I post there too. And if gas prices are getting you a little down, check out the Get Upside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back on every gas purchase. And finally, if you want to talk to other rideshare drivers, people like me, people like other people in the comments, check us out at Facebook at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.